Bulunaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
The US calls made for more environmental discipline and fish sales not fetching as before.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Posting on social media is not the answer. Human Rights Commission Director Ashwin Raj says if anyone believes their rights have been violated, posting it on social media will not necessarily resolve the issue. Raj says in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Commission has seen a surge in complaints, and he believes there are other issues which people are not reporting to the relevant authorities.
The last thing you want is, introspection on the social media, all kinds of commentaries, because in the end, what's really important is thorough, independent investigation, upholding the rule of law, ensuring that there's compliance with human rights standards and norms and all of that, because all of the commentary on the social media is not going to give justice.
Fiji currently faces a conflicting issue between development projects and the plight to protect our pristine ecosystem and biodiversity. Permanent Secretary for the Environment Ministry, Joshua Wycliffe, says this is where environmental consultants need to be responsible and uphold environment discipline. Joshua Wycliffe says consultants are the eyes and ears for every project in Fiji, and they should be thorough when mapping out development plans.
This is the only agency that is left behind to protect Fiji's nature and Fiji's environment. And what happens is, this agency depends on you all, each one of you in this room, to advise this agency as to what is good and what is not good.
With the COVID-19 pandemic affecting the economic market, small-scale fishermen are experiencing a drop in sales of their produce. As many lose their source of livelihood, the struggle in fish sales is becoming more evident, as many are trying to recover from the financial constraints caused by the pandemic. Local fisherman Sutueti Tuisavura goes out to sea every week and comes back with fresh fish to sell at the Suva Fish Market. Recently, Tuisavura has been finding it difficult to cope with the decreasing demand in fish in the local market.
Sometimes we survive with little to no money with what we can accumulate in a day. Business is slower than usual, and we can really feel the impact of people being affected financially by this pandemic, by the slow sailing in our fish.
Despite the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic, the Benga Lagoon Resort is trying to retain its over 100 staff. Reservations clerk Vasiti Ratulevu says none of the staff have lost their jobs. However, they are working on reduced hours. Ratulevu says they are working on rotational basis and work for 4 hours a week. She adds that while the pandemic has had an adverse effect, it has also been a learning curve.
I think COVID has been a big learning experience for us because it's got us back to planting, to farming. So most of the villagers have gone back and started farming and planting and fishing. So we've been fortunate that we have the land and we have the sea. So we've been farming and fishing.
The Fiji National Provident Fund has investment spending on hold, channeling cash towards COVID-19 withdrawals. Having already paid out more than $50 million, the fund says its focus for the foreseeable future will be assisting members. Edwin Nunn reports.
The Superannuation Fund has decided that new investments need to take a back step for the time being.
I think the priority in terms of our cash deployment is meeting the members' needs. So from a cash flow planning, investment is more or less taken the back seat because the demand by our members are quite huge.
And the way that we are looking at it, for us, for some of them, it means the food on the table, whether they can afford the next meal.
The FNPF is losing revenue from investments in the Intercontinental in Natandola and the Momi Bay Resort, which have been closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Other investments, however, continue
Only
to
for
show up
the working
returns.
members. We have 42% of our investments in government bonds. We continue to receive interest on those. Investments in Vodafone, for instance, continue to pay the same level of dividends in the last year. HFC, so they still continue to provide the investments that we need to distribute at the end of the year for our members.
Members' funds, as at June last year, stood at $5.9 billion, with 70% preserved for retirement. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Venturing into a market business can be a challenging start, but it's the only option for many who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19. FBC News spoke with Fijians who have been laid off and are facing a daily struggle to make ends meet by selling fresh produce. 59-year-old Aluwesi Nakarawa was a port worker pre-COVID-19, but as ships stopped coming to Fiji, his job went with that, making him look for other means of income generation. For another, Timothy Morata, a former Fulton Hogan employee, losing his job has seen his survival instincts kick in.
The company started reducing the number of working days, and then slowly I was laid off because there was no ship stopping by the port. I miss my work, but sadly I have to think of my family at this time.
I buy 2 dozens of pineapples from a vendor here and cut it up, put it in a container and go around selling it to the public. $2 for a slice. I am still grateful that I am earning.
Coming up, doors still open for Levuka weightlifters and more workshops planned by Fiji FA.
Oira na ngwane no de nini ena be singa ni mataka.
Mersi sunga da kena loma dina kena mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabaksa ngai ka pala loma taki na ngwane. Dala bina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikirau ena be mataka.
Moniti kena magrombuka.
Ni boy tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena radio Fiji One na ndobo ibiti.
Indaw kina na mataka. Dan ramay na singabo.
The newly appointed weightlifting Fiji president is Della Shaw Elder, says the door is open for lifters in the country who wish to come back. This comes as members of the Levuka Weightlifting Club were suspended in 2018 by Weightlifting Fiji after opposing the Weightlifting Fiji's decision to appoint Hossein Tavakoli as the national coach. With Erma Singalimbao as the vice president, Shaw is confident they can have the Levuka club up and running again.
Very happy to say that one of our vice presidents is from Levuka, Erma Singalimbao. So Levuka is up and going. We welcome all athletes if they wish to come back. We have process in place. There are process in place if they wish to come back and represent their country.
The Fiji Football Association plans to continue with coaches, players, referees and officials workshops on the sport should contact sports continue to be restricted. This is part of the planned scenarios drawn should the government continue to place restrictions on contact sports amidst the ongoing pandemic. Fiji FA Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf says the association will not let the COVID-19 pandemic dampen their spirit on continuing to strive for the growth of football in the country.
We will continue with our programs as we are doing now, coaching workshops within the guidelines given by the Ministry for Health, and we will continue education process of our technical officials. We will have online sessions, coaching and refereeing and administration courses.
Taking a look at the weather map for today, it's cloudy conditions with occasional showers expected over most places. And that is your FBC Morning News. Join us at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. Remember, in times of crisis, you need factual news that you can trust. Stop believing fake news about the COVID-19 on social media. Fight misinformation by getting only the facts about the coronavirus from verified news sources like FBC's TV, radio and digital media news. www.fbcnews.com.fj. Keeping Fijians connected with the truth.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही है।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हम सफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।